Good morning, everyone. The committee will come to order. We're meeting this morning to consider 3 nominations. This is for the nomination of David Bernhardt to be Secretary of the Department of Interior, Susan Combs to be Assistant Secretary of Interior for Policy, Management, and Budget, and Amy Georgiani to be Chair of the Advisory Council on Historic Preservation. I believe that all 3 of these nominees are well qualified and encourage all members to vote to report them favorably this morning. As I noted last week, Mr. Bernhardt, I believe, has the right background. He's got the right experience to be an excellent Secretary of the Interior. He has twice been confirmed to positions at Interior with bipartisan support, first to be Solicitor in 2006 and then to be Deputy Secretary in 2017. He's most recently served as Acting Secretary since January of 2019. I understand that Mr. Bernhardt has the second most prior experience at the department out of any nominee for secretary. He's from the West. I like that. He has great familiarity with the issues that will come before him, and he's proven that he can ably lead the department. So, what everybody's talking about this morning, there are accusations about his ethics. We had this conversation 2 weeks ago when his name was before us. I think it's very clear you've got some pretty well-funded groups that are working very hard, very energetically against his nomination. We saw new allegations last week, and then this morning there is yet another report. And this is all coming despite the government scientist involved saying that there was nothing amiss when we had that conversation last week. Senator Gardner, you certainly raised that. This week we're again seeing new reporting on old allegations. I don't think that this is a coincidence that we are seeing this kind of the roundup of reporting on old stories, and I think non-stories, just as we're approaching the markup here. Interior's Inspector General has reviewed the matter as part of its due diligence. It has not opened an investigation. In fact, our staff checked with the Inspector General's office. We were told that there are no open investigations into Mr. Bernhardt. We have had, as a committee, I believe, ample time to review all of these allegations. I am aware of no substantiation of them whatsoever. And frankly, I would be stunned if they were to be substantiated. And I would remind members that both the Office of Government Ethics and the designated agency ethics official have found Mr. Bernhardt to be in good standing. So, again, there will probably be a question this morning, I would imagine, on the New York Times article that is out there this morning, but I would remind colleagues or ask you to look into these allegations. Again, contain no new information. This is recycled. It's been repackaged. They're now focusing on an invoice from Mr. Bernhardt's prior law firm. The law firm has said that it was labeled incorrectly. Others have said it was labeled incorrectly. It didn't concern lobbying services. We have known about this previous work that he has had at Westlands. We knew it back in 2017 when we confirmed him as Deputy Secretary, and at that time this work was not deemed lobbying. So just because it's in the New York Times this morning doesn't mean that it's correct. It's my hope that as a committee we will move forward in affirming Mr. Bernhardt to be Secretary of the Interior, and then that the full Senate will confirm him coming up here. I think the sooner we have a permanent secretary at Interior, the better. To our other nominees, unfortunately, these folks are not new to us. They've been hanging out there for quite a while. It's just an example of what we've seen with the process here in the Senate. Ms. Combs, very well regarded. She did well at her nomination hearing, but that was back in July of 2017. That was a while ago. I think that was before you were here, Senator. Today will mark the 3rd time that she has been reported from our committee. Her nomination has now been pending for a total of 632 days. So she gets an award, in my view, for just sticking with it. I can't believe she's waited so long to be confirmed, but she is still in and still deserves to be confirmed. Ms. Georgiani is a similar story. She's well qualified. She did well at her nominations hearing. She was also reported from our committee by voice vote. She's the first person to be nominated to be the chair of the Advisory Council on Historic Preservation. Controversial? I don't think so. We made that a Senate confirmable position back in late 2016, but Ms. Georgiani has been waiting for a total of 382 days, and this is for a term that expires on January 19th of 2021. So that's a full third of her would-be term spent not as chair of the Advisory Council on Historic Preservation, but instead waiting for the Senate executive calendar for confirmation. So again, she's not controversial. This is just what our process has become. So I know yesterday was kind of a tough day for a lot of us that believe strongly in the institution and our own rules around here. But I came to the conclusion that our process is just not working for us. And so when you have situations where good people and in many, many, many cases, very non-controversial individuals just can't get through, we've got to do something. So